Hey, it's Elisa, the Half Asian Tarot Queen, and just reminding you that I'm doing this giveaway right now. Between now and the end of the month, there's a video explaining how to do it in the main page of the channel, but it's really pretty easy, and I think the chances are really high of winning right now. So I'm giving away the Starseed Oracle. It's this really wonderful oracle deck with lots of super positive messages, which I think is really helpful in this moment in time with everything that everyone's going through with coronavirus pandemic. I'm going to the Mystical Shaman, which was the last giveaway, for some overall energies for the reading. But yeah, it's basically just sort of like a community building effort. It might appear as if I'm going through a bit of an identity crisis in the sense that I started this channel really for my own well-being, because it's helpful to, like, you know, work through stuff with tarot instead of lashing out in real life. And it's been like a really helpful tool for me, and I've gotten a lot out of it. So that's kind of why I started doing this. But if you've been following this channel for very long, you would know that actually my true ambition in life is that I'm a vegan cheese maker. And there's kind of a whole thread about that. So anyways, the long story short is I'm like merging everything together into like an overall wellness platform. And that's why there might appear to be an identity crisis going on at the moment. But beautiful Starseed Oracle, we're going to pull one of these at the end. And I'm going to keep going with the reading now. Okay, so it's really cool which cards came out. I love this deck so much. Okay, so at the bottom we have Taming the Wind. And this is a card of just like co-creating with the universe, you know, and having reverence for the divine. But, you know, when you're acting sort of in the highest good and you're co-creating rather than trying to like control outcomes and operating from your ego, you have all the power of the universe, you know, working towards your intentions, which is really powerful. And then, you know, there's like this feather, and so this kind of always reminds me of the story of, I've said this before when this card's come up, Forrest Gump, the movie. This is like a super meaningful coincidence for me because this was coming up in the week when my father was passing away, because he was talking about how we were still going to hear from him, you know, when he crossed over. And it was just kind of like the story of Forrest Gump, you know, because Forrest had this very close connection with his mom, and whenever he would get at this big turning point in his life, this like white feather would drop from the sky, and it was like a message from his mom, and he would know which way to go, you know. And so this is kind of speaking to that, you know, like staying in alignment with the highest good, you know, is going to give you the most power to co-create your intentions. So don't be hung up on like outcomes, you know, but more on just like keeping your energy clear and like focusing on your intentions. And it's cool because the other cards that came out really go along with that too. So we got the Luminous Warrior, the Drum, and we got Magic. It's so crazy how these line up. So the Luminous Warrior is someone who's kind of, they've explored their dark and their light, you know, they've come into full awareness of their shadow elements as well as their light, you know, but they're in command of their emotions. Like they've come into command. So it's just sort of like they know that all struggles are internal struggles. So, you know, they don't have any enemies, you know, and they don't engage in those kinds of back and forth, because they know everything is about where you put your intention and your attention. You know, if you're focusing your attention on like cutting other people down and trying to like beat people at all costs, well, you're really just hurting yourself, because really what you manifest is where you put your intention. So if you put your attention and your intention on positive things and building on positive things, then that's what you're manifesting for yourself. So it's like, you know, it's really easy sometimes in the world to get distracted by like petty squabbles with people and like wanting to win at all costs, you know, but this person is kind of like above all that, because they know that all of that only ends up hurting you, you know, like you have to focus your attention and your intention on what you want to manifest in the world and forget about everything else, because that's really where your power is, you know. And this person has kind of learned that lesson. They've come into command of everything, you know, their dark and their light, so they're not projecting into the world around them like this evil person that they need to take down. Like, they're not doing that, you know, because they're in command, you know. So basically all their energy is going towards whatever they're trying to manifest, and that's it, you know. And so that's why it's really powerful. And then we got the drum. So this is a card of being sort of like in sync with the universe, like with the rhythm of the universe, because it's like talking about this drum that's beating, you know, this beat, you know. And it's just sort of like you're in, it's talking about synchronicity, you know, and just sort of like things lining up, you know, because you're in the flow, you know, with the rhythm, you know. And that's kind of what this drum speaks to, you know. It's just like when you have mastered yourself, you know, you just naturally come into this rhythm, you know. So it's like you'll put this intention and this, you know, your attention into what you're trying to manifest, and then you just go into the flow, you know, and then the rhythm will support you. Okay, so the last card is magic, and this card is a card of just sort of like the signs, you know. It's a card of meaningful coincidence. It's like when something happens and the coincidences line up just right, so that you're just like, you have to pay attention, and you know that it's, you know, a sign that you're in the right place at the right time. So it's like really beautiful how these line up, because this is talking about co-creating with the universe and having this feather, you know, with the signs that show you how. And then the way these three cards line up is this person is in command of their emotions, and so they're not, their power is not being side railed by like petty squabbles or arguments or people just like it, you know, getting into it with them. They're just like completely focused on, this is what I'm trying to create in the world, and they're not being derailed by anything. They're just like in command, you know. But they're also just like not trying to get into it with anyone. They're just focused on their own self, you know, and that's how they come into their power. And so by doing that, by focusing your energy and being sort of like in the flow of the universe and like letting things unfold in the way that the universe intends, you experience magic, you know, because there's all these signs and synchronicities come up that show you which direction to go, you know, because you're in command. And so it's just like all of this lines up to support you in like making your dreams come true, you know. So all you have to do is have faith and focus your intentions, and then this rhythm is going to show up, you know, and these signs are going to point you along the way. It's like, ooh, it's so beautiful. So this is actually a really good reading. I'm going to the Ethereal Visions to pull some overall energies for this reading, but oh my gosh, and we got the High Priestess on the bottom of the deck. So this is a card of manifestation, and it's a card of sort of like having a spiritual connection, you know. And this is like really beautiful, because it's just like, it's a really good omen for the future, because like I think we're all at this really big turning point, because we've all kind of taken this time, we're all pulling back, and like now there's this new world order that's sort of emerging out of the ashes of everything that just kind of like fell apart. And like it's a good omen to be like going into that in your like full power, you know. And oh my gosh. Okay, so we've got at the bottom of this deck we have the Devil, which this is a card of toxic situations. It's a card of bondage, you know, and it's kind of the opposite of this, you know. It's like not being in command of yourself, you know. And so just all of your energy is being sidetracked by like petty squabbles, stuff that doesn't matter, you know. This is someone who needs to do work on themselves, you know. So this is at the bottom of the deck, which is interesting because that energy is there, and that's obviously, you know, there's a lot of fear that's out there right now because this is a really difficult transition for everyone, you know. And so it's gonna be, you know, it's gonna take like all of our attention and intention to overcome that because it's just everywhere right now. But so overall energies, we have the Two of Swords, we have Justice, and we have the Two of Cups. So this is interesting because this Two of Swords, this is a card of blockage, you know. This is a stalemate card. This is like being stuck and not moving ahead because you're just sort of blindfolded. You're just like, I don't really know which way to go, so I'm just gonna like, it's like you're the turtle, you know. You go into your shell and you're just like not gonna deal, you know. You're just stuck. But then we have the Justice card, you know, which this is a card of karma, you know. This is a card of wrongs being righted. So it's almost like something's happened. Like it's like the turtle, you know. It's like traumatized by something, you know, where you're just like, I can't deal with this, you know. I mean, we've all kind of been doing this. Like the whole world's been in quarantine, you know. But justice is being served now. And then we got the Two of Cups, which is beautiful, you know. This is like a deep love connection that's coming through, you know. So it's just like, it's almost like there's so much profound change that's happening in the world right now, that it's just sort of like, however things, you know, whatever powers that be have been in the past, like they can't really withstand. It's like this tsunami of change. Like nobody can resist it. Like we all have to change. Like there's no, you know. And so like for whoever this reading is for, like who's come into command of their emotions and their power, like things are flowing and changing. And if you just like follow the signs, you know, justice is going to be served, and it's going to lead you to this beautiful connection. So that's really interesting, you know. I'm going to go to this Muse Tarot to get some general energies for the reading. I just got this deck, and it's got this most beautiful, coolest artwork. So yeah, I'm going to get some more clarity about where we're at, because this looks really interesting, because, you know, it's just sort of like, I should refer back to this reading that I did, like right when the whole coronavirus thing started, because it was talking about opportunity versus fear. That's what the reading was called. And it was talking about how, you know, it's really important to focus on the opportunity and not the fear, especially in these moments of like great change, because we're all basically manifesting out of the thoughts that we're having, you know. And so it's just like, if we're focused on fear and loss, and that's we're going to manifest into our world, you know. Whereas like if you are focused on opportunities, you know, you're also going to create that, you know. And so it's just like, I was talking about the story of like the Kennedy family, because, you know, Joe Kennedy, the patriarch, it was like he, during the Great Depression, because, you know, everyone's saying right now that that's kind of like we're at an analogous point to the Great Depression, you know. And he did this thing that seemed foolish at the time, where he invested all this money in the stock market when it was like completely, you know, depressed. and that was the beginning of the Kennedy Empire, because he ended up making a whole lot of money when it came back up, you know. So it's because he overcame the fear, you know. And it's crazy because right when I'm saying that, the Devil card comes out at the bottom of this deck. So at the bottom of both of these decks, we got the Devil, which is crazy because it's just like, yeah, there's fear all around. Like, this is a very difficult moment. And the way that we're going to overcome that is by, like, controlling, being in command of our emotions and seeing the opportunity in this moment and not getting sucked into the fear, you know, because that's kind of the great temptation right now, you know, and it's crazy. So then I got the Muse of Emotions. So that's the King of Cups, you know, so it's like the King of Cups falls on top of this stalemate card. And the thing about the King of Cups is, the King of Cups is someone who is in command of their emotions. I mean, the King of Cups is basically this luminous warrior. And it's crazy because it fell on top of this stalemate and the luminous warrior. So it's just sort of like, if you want to break out of this bondage, the way out is by being in command of your emotions. And then on top of the Justice card, we got the Justice card again. So it's like we're getting all these double messages. Like, we got the Devil twice, and now we're getting Justice twice. And the Justice falls right on top of this drum, you know? Like, just staying in the flow, in the rhythm that's unfolding. This is going to lead you to justice, you know? And then on top of the Two of Cups, which the Two of Cups fell on top of this magic. And it's cool because these cards even like match in like this color sense. It's just like, follow the signs. And then we got the Star, which is, this is a card of wishes coming true and a card of healing. So it's like, follow the signs. It's going to lead you to this great connection, and it's going to lead you to healing, and it's going to lead you to your wishes coming true. Which is like, wow, that's really amazing, you know? And it's like, all of this is happening in the context of this, you know, all this fear. It's just like a matter of which channel you're going to tune into. Are you going to turn into like darkness and fear? Or are you going to tune into like magic and synchronicity and like miracles? Because they're both happening in real time at the same time, you know? And it's just like, we each have our own antenna, and we get to choose like which channel we're going to tune into, and like, you know. And then we have the Empress, which is a card of creation. It's a card of giving birth to something, and that falls right on top of this Luminous Warrior and the King of Cups, like coming into command of your emotions, breaking through the stalemate, and giving birth to something new. And then we have the Muse of Voices, you know, so that's the card of like the King of Swords, which is interesting because the King of Swords falls on this double justice, you know, and the King of Swords is someone who like delivers harsh truths and breaks through like BS, you know, and like sometimes it's harsh because he's just like telling the truth. He tells it like it is, you know, and that's kind of like this rhythm of the universe, you know, like it's like this tsunami, like you can't resist it, like things are changing, like the coronavirus happened, like our economy is decimated, like this is not anything that you can avoid, you know, it's just happening, and we have to like flow with it, you know, and it's harsh, you know, but if we can like stay in command of ourselves, like this is going to help us to like flow to a positive outcome. And then we have the Death card, which is a card of change. So it's just like, follow the signs and the synchronicities. This change is happening, but if you follow the signs that are indicated, it could lead you to this wishes coming true and this beautiful outcome. This is crazy. So, all right, I'm going back to the ethereal visions, and I'm going to pull 3 cards of guidance for how we're going to move through this energy. I'm actually doing this reading on Memorial Day, which is crazy because it's all about, you know, remembering our fallen, you know, it's my dad is a vet, you know, so it's a big deal. And I was just like, we went to go visit my dad this morning, and I'm like, you know, please help me see the signs, you know, how we're going to move through this moment. And so, anyways, that's where we're at. I'm looking for the signs, but it's crazy too because the devil fell out again. That card really wants to come out. And okay, oh my gosh. All right, so we have the strength on the bottom. So, you know, this is a really difficult moment, and it's going to take a lot of strength and a lot of perseverance, you know, to like not get distracted by all this toxic stuff that's going around, you know. It's like, this is like a cautionary tale, you know. It's just sort of like, you gotta remember, you know, like to stay on the right path, you know, and don't get seduced by this, you know. Stay on the right path. That's what's going to break through this blockage, and that's when it's what's going to give birth to this beautiful new life, you know. But just, this fell right on top of that, so it's like reminding you to stay in alignment, you know. Like, don't be seduced, because this is really powerful. This is everywhere right now, you know, and it's really going to be easy to fall off the peace train, right? You know, so remember, like, and have reverence for this, because this is a powerful force, you know. So, you know, don't take that for granted, you know. But we have the Six of Pentacles, which is a card of giving and receiving, and a card of bringing that in balance. And that falls right on top of this Justice, double justice, and this King of Swords. You know, so this King of Swords, this harsh truth that's being delivered, you know, by this flow that's pushing the world forward right now, is going to ultimately bring things in balance, you know. But, you know, there's going to be some harsh truths that are going to have to be delivered in order to get there. So, but remember, this is where we're going. We're going towards a balance. And then we have the Queen of Swords, which is crazy because we have the King of Swords and we have the Queen of Swords right next to each other. And the thing about the Queen of Swords is this Queen of Swords has like been through the ringer. Like, she's already had a lot of really difficult stuff that she's already worked through in her life. And so this has made her like pretty no nonsense, you know. Like, she doesn't put up with any guff. Like, stuff comes her way and she draws clear boundaries and she doesn't get sucked in, you know. And so that falls right on top of this, you know, the signs and synchronicities leading to this love and leading to this healing and leading to this wishes coming true. This transformation of your situation is going to be requiring, you know, having some really strong boundaries and like speaking your truth, you know. So this is, it's like the potential in this situation, in this moment, is so great, you know. It's just sort of like the whole Kennedy dynasty, you know. But this is also a super tumultuous moment, and there's a lot of dark stuff around. So it's going to take a lot of strength to stay in alignment with the truth, you know. And so this is like pretty treacherous, you know, but the potentiality for like a great outcome is there, you know. So don't lose sight of that, you know, because there's going to be so much that you can be seduced by, you know. It's like a tightrope walk, you know, but like the opportunity is there, you know. Focus on the opportunity and not the fear, you know. That's like really important right now. Okay, so I'm going to go to the Starseed Oracle because I just want to remind you guys that we're doing a giveaway right now. And, you know, my channel is pretty like, you know, I'm not honestly trying to be a tarot reader or start a tarot channel, but I'm trying to build a community around wellness. So like ultimately I'm working on building like a larger wellness community, you know. And so anyways, I've gotten a lot out of these cards, and so I want to share that because I feel like it's It's really helped me. So anyways, the point is that the chances of winning in this giveaway are really high, and I'm going to read a couple cards from this deck just to show you a little bit about it. Okay, so my mom keeps, she wants some advice on her wardrobe, so that's what these breaks keep being. I pulled 2 cards. I got Karmic Relationships, which, you know, this speaks to this tightrope walk, you know. Orion energy, polarity, soul growth, and conflict. This constellation Orion is thought by many to have been a place of great polarity and eventual unity. Some believe that many starseeds who are part of this cosmic history are incarnate on Earth now and are playing out karmic relationships from Orion times. Perhaps you're one of them. Polarity causes conflict and highlights separation. However, because of this conflict, can also result in unity and growth. Too many misunderstandings are caused when we don't open our heart and mind and see things from a different point of view. When we go into reactive, second-guessing mode instead of gathering the courage to open our heart. We should admit that we may have reacted because of our own woundings and then find mutual ground. We're all innocent children looking to be seen, understood, and cherished. It's much harder to grow closer through conflict than it is to grow further apart. And yet, that's the invitation of conflict. It's easy to react and take things personally. It's more challenging to see the innocence of all involved and find a way to grow closer through conflict. It's through relationships that we can grow most. How can you soften your heart and drop your defenses enough to see things from a different point of view? How can you see the innocence of all involved? How can you learn to see the similarities rather than the differences? So, you know, this is a reminder to not get sidetracked by this, you know. There's an opportunity here for a great outcome, you know, but there's also this powerful force, influence that you can easily be seduced by too. Okay, so the other card we got was the Courageous Peony. Multifaceted, unique nature. Let yourself be seen. Okay, so I'm going to read this message too. Flowers don't open and close according to who walks by. They embrace all of what they are and show it to the world around them. The peony doesn't try to compete with the cherry blossom, and the cherry blossom doesn't try to compete with the tulip. They own what they are and trust the timing of their true nature. You're being called to do the same. It's time to open yourself up to being seen. Time to share your incredible, multifaceted, true nature with the world around you. To uncover and reveal your soul's greatest gifts without wavering. To own your uniqueness without apology. There's a flower on this planet that holds the same qualities that your soul is readying itself to express. Let it inform you. You may have been taught that it's safer to keep your light hidden and your voice small, to hide behind the bushes instead of growing tall. The Courageous Peony is here to remind you that it's safe to embody all of who you truly are. It's safe to share your voice and let yourself be seen. At first it may feel uncomfortable and you may be afraid of what others think, but with each passing day, it does become easier. Little by little, you realize that it draws in those who are meant for you, and experiences you've been longing for arrive at your feet. So that's so beautiful, you know. It's like you got to speak your truth, but know that you're in alignment with the beat of the universe, and there's going to be a path that's going to make itself known to you. So stay in alignment with that. Justice will be served. Your wish will come true. You know, don't be seduced by this toxic energy. It's a really difficult moment, but there's a lot of opportunity right now. So stay focused on that. And don't forget, there's this contest. So you can win this deck. It's a beautiful deck. And this contest is going on through the end of the month. So check that out on the main page of the channel. And please click like and subscribe. And we'll see you soon.